Good afternoon guys, this is Praneet Chakravarti from Pratham and today we'll be discussing about the options apart from NCHM CT, that is your IHM exams that take place. So the itinerary for today would be, we would start with OBRI STEP program being number 1. Number 2 would be ITC Welcome Lead program. Number 3 would be Taj IHM Aurangabad. Number 4 ITC Monopod. Number 5 DICE Hospitality, and last but not the least IP University. So let's just start with the first pointer, the OBRI STEP program. So this is basically a program where they have been in the industry for a really long time, since actually the inception of the hotel industry, and their program has been doing well for so many years. And did you guys know that OBRI STEP program is the only program among the other options that we discussed where they ask for a 60% eligibility in your board exams, and that's when you can sit for their interview round and all. So it's basically a stipend based program. And now if I come down to the certification program, they offer you a degree from IDC University, that is Bachelor in Tourism Management. They offer kitchen specialization as well. So apart from, as you must have seen in our last video where we covered the operational departments, OBRI does offer kitchen speciality as well. Now, apart from the IGNOU certification, there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. Number 1, that wherever the candidate is applying, so for example, if a candidate is applying in Delhi for OBRI STEP program, they won't give them the same location. So the student might be allocated some property in Agra, Hyderabad, Jaipur and so on. So please do keep that in mind once you fill out the applications for OBRI STEP program. They do not give you the same locality. Now, we'll come down to the selection process. So their first process is where they conduct 15 to 20. So their round 1 is basically where there are 15 to 20 students and they conduct a group activity. Now this activity may include some sort of group discussion, self-introduction, and sometimes they ask to introduce the other person sitting right next to you. Out of this, they tend to shortlist 7 to 8 people, and they are basically checking for your communication skills in this round. So keep that in mind once you sit for the round 1. Round 2 is where they ask for, there's a panel round and you have to sit in front of them and there's a personal interview. It might be on an individual basis or it might be in front of the OBRI STEP program faculty and the dean and so on. Students who clear round 2 are finally called for the round 3, where sometimes they have to write an essay, there is some written ability test, and there is the final panel round where there will be staff from the department itself and from the university as well who will be taking the interview. This is all about OBRI STEP program. Now, coming back to our other options, number 2 was ITC Welcome Lead. So just to give you guys a heads up, ITC Welcome Lead is something which has just come up in the market. They've had like 2 to 3 batches. Their intake is very limited as compared to OBRI STEP program, but it is actually a good program. So, and even IGNOU is the university who affiliates the ITC Welcome Lead program. So for example, if in OBRI STEP program we have seen that they offer BTS certification. Similarly, ITC Welcome Lead also gives you a certificate BTC from, that is your Bachelor in Tourism Studies from IGNOU University. Now, one thing to know about ITC is students who are planning, all the Delhi candidates who are planning to apply for ITC Welcome Lead, it is actually a good option because ITC always gives you Delhi as their location. So again, it's a stipend based this thing, you are given training in all the departments, but yes, not kitchen. So ITC Welcome Lead is not a good program for students who are particularly focused about their kitchen. So if you want to train in production department and your hot kitchen and cold kitchen and so on, ITC Welcome Lead is not the program for you. Again, they have a similar selection criteria like the OBRI STEP program, where they also have personal round, as in they start, so there are basically 3 rounds. Number 1 is where they usually have some sort of group discussion. Number 2, as in your round 2, is where they have personal interviews and so on. And the final round is the panel interview, where they tend to grill you on your technicals and they see how aware are you about the hotel industry and do you actually have that inclination towards the hotel industry or not. Now, we are done with our ITC welcome lead. Now, coming to the third, which is the most important or probably one of the major universities for hotel management, is Taj IHM Aurangabad. It was established in 2004. It's a 3-year course and it follows a similar curriculum as like your NCHM CT program itself. But it's actually a good program because the amount of exposure that they give to the students is among the Taj properties itself. So that is actually an advantage for the students' profile. Now, coming to the selection process of Taj IHM Aurangabad, you start with the profiling. So profiling is where they see whether the student actually has an inclination towards the hotel industry or not, or how keen he or she is. That amounts to a weightage of around 20%. Their second round is where they have the group discussion. The group discussion gives you a percentage of 15% weightage in the entire selection process. So once you clear the group discussion, parallelly you would have to submit a statement of purpose, which also has a weightage of about 15%. So cumulatively, group discussion and your statement of purpose adds on to 30%. And the most important is the personal interview. Personal interview accounts for a 50% weightage in the selection criteria for Taj IHM Aurangabad. The course fee would be around 3 to 4 lakhs. It's an AICT approved this thing, and it's actually a really good option for the students who want their exposure, particularly in Taj properties and so on. Now, coming to our next option, that is ITC Monopod. It is again an AICT approved course. They give you BHM, that is your Bachelor's in Hotel Management, and also they provide your Culinary Arts course as well. These are the two good options that ITC Manipal offers. They conduct an entrance exam, they have a group discussion, and they have a personal interview as well. Now, the only thing about ITC Manipal which I personally feel is, because their fees is around 7 lakhs for the entire course, and which I feel is not as good when it comes to the return on investment if a student is actually looking at it, because if you're shelling out 7 lakhs, you can actually cover that in some other institute, probably some other IHMs or Taj Aurangabad and so on. So hence Manipal is something which I wouldn't suggest when it comes to return on investment. But yes, again, their exposure and curriculum is actually really good. And I don't know were you guys aware of this or not, but the famous chef Vikas Khanna is an alumni of ITC Manipal. Now, our other option is Dice Hospitality. It has recently come up in the university list. It's a 4-year course, and they have got a certification from Ecotelier in Switzerland, which is actually not bad. It's a 4-year course. Their selection process is around, they conduct firstly 50% is on your merit based as to how much you have scored in your exams, and the rest 50% is on your personal interview. So their curriculum is good. They actually are up to date with their exposure and trainings that they provide. It includes flair bartending and open kitchen and so on. So it's actually coming up really well, and we have got a good response on Dice Hospitality. Last but not the least would be IP University. It is again a good option for all the students who are Delhi based and who don't want to move out of Delhi for their college. So it is a common entrance test based, where there's only one college, and depending on the college entrance exam, then they select you for the college. Now, it is, as I said, it is good for the Delhi candidates, but the only thing is, it is actually a 4-year course program. So by 4 years, it's basically first 3 years is only about the curriculum, and the last year is more sort of an OGT. So OGT is basically on-job training. So it's basically where the students are done with their curriculum in the first 3 years itself, but in the 4th year, you just go join some property, get the exposure and all, but you still have to pay the entire fees for the 4th year as well. So I would suggest think it through, If you have any second thoughts, it's good. Thank you so much for watching our video, and please don't forget to share, like and subscribe.